Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys face Justin Fields and the New York Jets at MetLife Stadium. The Jets are fresh off of another really bad loss. Their offense was inept for much of this game, not because they couldn't move the ball down the field, because their offense had so many pre-snap penalties. The entire thing was so topsy-turvy, just could not get any rhythm. Frankly, they looked pretty good on every other series that they were not turning the football over inside the red zone, settling for a field goal inside the red zone, and just a ridiculous amount of penalties. Now, the Dallas Cowboys had an instant classic against the Packers last week, a game that winds up as a tie of all things in the Micah Parsons return to Dallas. But the bright spot? Oh my goodness, did Dak Prescott look good throughout the night. Every time they needed a drive, he leads the game. Uh, Go ahead touchdown drive at the end, and then Green Bay is able to tie that thing up with the long field goal. Prescott takes in the length of the field for the field goal in overtime. He was exactly what they needed him to be. Their defense, on the other hand, was the opposite of what they needed them to be. Frankly, this one looked like it was going to get away from them in the beginning, 13-0, but they get the blocked PAT, take it back for 2 points, and then they're able to score before the half. They strip sack of Jordan Love, and then they hit the touchdown. My goodness, George Pickens was phenomenal in this game, becoming the type of wide receiver that all the Dallas Cowboys fans were looking forward to him being. Just imagine if they had a guy named CeeDee Lamb out there healthy for that one. Now, the status of CD for Sunday is inconclusive. It does not look like he will be playing. Clearly, that would be a large impact, but I don't really think it matters all that much because Cowboy fans know Dak was spreading the football around very well, and this team has been able to run the football the entire season. They were coming off of a very nice rushing performance against the Chicago Bears, sitting around 6 yards a carry, and then last week against Green Bay, they were able to keep it on the ground consistently, and with that balance provided from the run game, as well as Dak Prescott being utterly aggressive, taking shots, attacking outside the numbers, vertically inside the middle of the field. It was a very impressive performance against statistically a top 5 defense in football through the first 3 weeks of the season. Now, there is a Sauce Gardner on the other side. If I'm the Jets in this one, I'm shadowing George Pickens. He was way too large of a factor in that game against Green Bay. He was uncoverable at times. The play on the Cowboys' second to last possession before they got the turnover before the half, he makes a catch in between 2 defenders, takes a hit, gets the feet in bounds. One of the best catches that you'll see of the season. The New York Jets have a pretty good wide receiver too. And Garrett Wilson, he had a touchdown called back because of a little ticky-tack push-off. I guess you got to call that. But then it's funny, the 50-50 ball, Orlovsky and Riddick during the broadcast are saying the exact play before. Take a shot one-on-one. Fields is getting pressure. You got to see that. The exact next play, it's like they heard him give the one-on-one to Garrett Wilson on the outside. He wins, makes a heck of a grab. The Jets go for 2, and Fields gets in there, but there's just not enough time. They don't pick up the onside kick. We're going to see some incredible catches, and I really wouldn't understand why the Cowboys without CeeDee Lamb or the Jets with Garrett Wilson, they don't just go, each of these teams, 12, 13, 14 targets for their guys. George Pickens, getting him the football early and often. The Jets, the exact same thing, because they are clearly the difference makers. It's one thing when you can take away a guy. Let's say Tyreek Hill, you can cloud cover him, and you have someone right over the top. Unfortunately, he went down. I mean, that was just a terrible-looking injury. You feel for him. Malik Neighbors goes down on the MetLife turf also last week. It's another horrible thing that continues to happen on that field with injuries and guys going down. But these two players and their styles, they're able to create their own separation through their contested catch ability. They could be covered, but they're really not covered, and that's an advantage just about over anybody. I can already see it. Sauce Gardner, George Pickens going head-to-head, and Dak Prescott saying, hey, Pickens might be covered, but I still am going to throw it up to my guy because he has an uncanny ability to make plays. Now, let's talk a little bit about what these teams have been through the first couple of weeks. We're all very familiar with how terrible they have been on defense. Otherwise, we might be looking at the 2-1-1 Dallas, the 2-2 Dallas Cowboys, or maybe the 3-1 Dallas Cowboys, the New York Jets, who could be 2-2 right now. The Jets offense, 21st in the league in yards comparatively to the Cowboys, who are first in the NFL in yards through the first 4 games of the season. The problem is the Cowboys defense is last in the league in yards and 31st in points, which kind of wipes out you being 5th in the NFL in points through the first 4 games of the season. If they had somewhere of a middle of the pack defense, even somewhere around 18, 19 statistically, they were able to be better against the pass. This team would be 3-1, maybe 4-0, pulling out a win against the Eagles in week 1 or last week against the Packers, Chicago. They would have had a better shot. And the New York Jets, 19th in points. They're a middle of the pack offense, but defensively, 20th in yards is not that good. And then 20th in points. It's clear that this team not just statistically isn't very good on both sides of the ball, but also they just don't win close games. It's not something the Jets have done for the last 15 years. That's why they haven't won a playoff game since the last Mark Sanchez win against Tom Brady in their building back in 2010. It's because you can't win close games, and they haven't had consistency. Now, when you look at the Jets' offense, I don't know if there's a team in football that more badly needs a number 2 wide receiver than them. Now, there will be guys coming out in the 2026 draft. I'm thinking about Carnell Tate. I'm thinking about a Jordan Tyson. I know it's crazy talking about the draft already, but this is not at all a matchup that the Jets look like they have advantages in with the way that the Cowboys come into this game. I hear Sauce Gardner this, Sauce Gardner that. Why is this one of the poor defenses in football, this secondary? They brought in Brandon Stevens, who actually had a couple of nice plays. He had a nice tackle. He had 2 good plays on the football in coverage. He looked better. It's just the loss of DJ Reed has made this Jets secondary a lot weaker. It's poor in the back end. The safeties, they just don't take the football away. There's no significant pressure on the quarterback. They're sitting back there throughout the night, sitting back there with a lot of time in this Aaron Glenn defense that he's constructing and trying to put his guys in advantage situations, and then that they talk about it. I mean, Sauce Gardner has been penalized amongst the top of the league for the last few years. I mean, last year, first in the league in penalties. So he's a handsy guy. Understand that. That's all the more reason for you to give one-on-ones, because likely, even if you chuck it up there on its 3rd and 6, one-on-one on the outside, going up to Pickens and Sauce, you could get a PI, could get an illegal contact, could get a holding call. There's a lot of advantages for you. Now, again, I know the impact of losing a Micah Parsons and what that looked like. They were able to generate a bit more pressure in their game against Green Bay. It was a significant sign. The strip sack before the half was very good. A bit more pressure on Jordan Love. Frankly, the Packers were very lucky to get out of Arlington with a tie. In the ending sequence, the Cowboys were playing a little bit of bend, don't break, keeping the ball in front of them, rallying up, making tackles, and that clock kept turning, and before we know it, there's only 18 seconds when Jordan Love makes the pass out in the flat. It's like they got to go end zone shot, ball hits the clock with 1, and it was a pretty tight one. It was like sitting there at 1 second for like 3/4 of a second. It was pretty close to hitting 0. But these two teams, both of them badly need wins just for the confidence of them. The Dallas Cowboys right in the thick of it now with what they have coming up on the schedule. You're looking at the Jets and the Panthers, so a great opportunity for them to get above 500. And then New York still looking for their first win of the 2025 regular season. Can it come against the Cowboys? Sure. It's at home, but that has not been the sort of factor that you would think it has for this team in recent memory. Quinnen Williams in the middle, he's going to be a very important piece in stopping Javonte Williams in that run game for the Cowboys. Now, the Cowboys had the injury, right? Miles Sanders looks like he might be coming back this week. They had a bit of better news with him. Still, Tyler Booker's out with the injury in the interior. That one hurts you. We'll see what's going on with Guyton. And then for the Jets, Braylon Allen, that injury did not look good. He had the fumble by the goal line, and so we're going to be seeing a lot more Breece Hall. The Jets on the season, it's been helped out a little bit by Justin Fields with that ridiculous touchdown. Unbelievable, his ability to just get outside and create space for himself in that touchdown. At the point of attack, it looked like the Dolphins had him wrapped up. I believe it was on a 4th down and 1. He's able to get away, just be the best athlete on the field, and run in for that touchdown. So he's helping out the rushing yards number. The Jets are 5.2 a carry. Fields is currently at 7.4 on the season, but getting Breece Hall more touches, not just in the ground game, but an extension of that, getting him the ball in space, screens, see a little bit more of that. Get the ball out of Justin Fields a little bit faster. That's what I want to see. He's got over 100 rating so far on the year in the games that he's played in. He's been fine enough. It's just the pre-snaps. All of that stuff has to be cleaned up, or you're looking at a Jets team that might be truly in the running for the number 1 pick in the 2026 NFL draft if they cannot clean any of that stuff up. So this game and what I have for a prediction, I've got high scoring. I don't think you're going to be surprised by that. I've got the Cowboys winning it 31-27. This team just looked from the eyeballs like they were a better team. Going up against a tough Packer team. They got these at the end of the half when the Packers looked like they might try and put some points on the board, and then at the end of the game holding them to a field goal. Those 2 key possessions prevented them from losing. They could have obviously gotten stops to have won that game up by 3. Packers get a touchdown, up by 3, and then the Packers get the game-tying field goal. For the Jets, I just don't see it in this game being able to limit that Dallas Cowboy attack. So I have the Cowboys 31-27. Let me know down below whether you think the Jets pull out the win or the Dallas Cowboys seemingly just have a lot too much cooking on the offensive side of the ball. I appreciate you so much. With Blitz with Blender, I make NFL and college content every day, so please subscribe for more videos coming out of here in the future as we move on towards week 5 of the NFL season. I appreciate you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Best player in college football.
That Georgia and Ohio State game, New Year's Eve, is going to be a classic.
Josh Blunder, hi everybody, I'm Josh Blunder.
To the 40, 35, 30, Espinosa to the 20.